whatever. Anyway, we got off on a tangent. Anyway, so considering what we're looking at here on this roster, considering how this team operates, considering all of that, we're throwing all that out the window. So if we had an opportunity, one of the things that our team should be looking to do based on our asset situation, based on our entire situation really, is look for reclamation projects around the league. And when I say reclamation projects, I'm talking about young players. If for this particular exercise, I've stipulated that the players must be bare minimum under the age of 28. Why 28? Because usually a player's best years are going to occur if they have a natural progression in their abilities, I should say, if they have a long career. It should be between the ages of 27 and 32. So if a player's 28, we're going to get his best years during Luka's contract before he's asking for a trade in 3 years if this team remains complete butt cheeks. And he has to hear about how he's not making them better in the media, because it's his responsibility to make sure 30-year-olds can shoot the, you know what, getting off track. We want dudes that are below 28. So at bare minimum, we're getting their best years. But if they're younger, we might even get them to their best years by the time Luka's contract is coming up. So now maybe we've gotten somebody that can grow and develop with Luka as they're close to the same age. Again, this is going to be a player that may not be having the best season right now. Maybe they've had great seasons in the years past. Maybe not even a great season. Maybe they just had like a 10-game stretch where they showed some flashes during an injury fill-in or something along those lines. Or they came out of the draft as high draft prospects and it hasn't worked out for them so far. Your Lauri Markkanens, for example. Guys that the team that have them may be down on them. The fans may be down on them. The front office may be talking about them in the media. All that stuff. So again, for this exercise, I told Reese to find 3 to 5 players. How many did you end up with?
I was going to do 3, but I stretched it out to 5.
I got 5 myself. I really had 6, but I'm taking one of them off the list because that might be triggering right now. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
Wait, hold up. You said you're taking somebody off your list because now I'm curious.
I'll bring them up later.
All right, cool. I'm gonna go first though. I'm gonna go first. I went with low profile guys. One of them is a rookie.
Okay. And he's already a reclamation project?
I would considering. I think you'll understand when I say
okay.
it.
Go ahead. I'll shut up.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually start with that player just to get it out of the way. Isaiah Mobley. From the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't like him on that team. He was a pretty decent player in college. He showed some promise, and I feel like him being there with his brother, and I feel like he's going to be in his brother's shadow. I'm pretty sure the Cleveland Cavaliers probably drafted him there to make Evan Mobley happy and be like, hey, you got your family here with you. So the chances of them then trading him are low. But he has some talent. I'm not going to say he's going to be like his brother because Evan Mobley is almost unicorn-like status in a different aspect. But I do believe he has some talent that he can contribute to a team. It's going to take some time. Not saying he would contribute this year, next year, but maybe with some time in the G League, a couple minutes here and there, guy off the bench, small forward, power forward type role. I would like Isaiah Mobley on the Dallas Mavericks. But I went with him first because it's like the chances of that happening are slim. They don't want to upset Evan Mobley. Or maybe they do and we get him instead.
I'm going to look. I don't know much about him. So, like, what can you tell me about his game?
I believe he went to USC.
He did.
His game, I don't want to say his game is similar to Evan Mobley's, but it's not really that far off. I would just say his game is, how can I say, smaller. Like Evan Mobley doesn't play big in the post, but Evan Mobley would play more like like how a Lauri Markkanen did at small forward for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
You saying Isaiah Mobley would? You mean?
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
Isaiah Mobley would, as opposed to playing a power forward position or a center position. I believe he was drafted as a power forward, though I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm looking now. I see 6'10", listed at 6'10", 240.
Pretty beefy guy. Pause.
I assume he has long arms too.
Yes.
I'm looking at the 3-point percentage in college. Looks like it was 35% last year on 4 attempts. It was 43% on just 1 attempt the year prior. So I would assume he has a little bit of a jumper. 8 rebounds a game is pretty good in college. And okay, so like an athletic forward, basically. He's 23, I see. And he was a 2nd-round pick. So let me check his contract.
Charity draft.
Say what?
He was a charity pick for the Cavaliers.
I don't even see his contract. What the hell? Why am I not seeing his contract? 2-way. Okay. In that scenario, we will be getting rid of one of our 2-way guys or upgrading them.
Fine with me.
Contract. I'm not mad at it. Okay. So I'll go with my first one. All my guys are guys that you've heard before. Maybe some people have tried to put them in trade packages here and there.
Okay.
The first one on my list is Daniel Gafford.
Okay, I considered him.
Yeah, Daniel Gafford is kind of out of the rotation for some reason. Over in, or barely in the rotation, I should say. He's playing like 12 minutes a game in Washington. That's considering injuries they've had to deal with, where he's had to play more for some games. He's 24. His contract currently is $2 million for this year. He signed an extension though that kicks in next year and will be at $12 million. That's slightly over Dwight Powell money. I think he's an athletic center, runs the floor like a deer, shot blocker, lob catcher. Again, a guy that's young enough to be able to grow with Luka over these next few years. A guy I think you can play with Christian Wood in a 2-big situation, depending on how you want to do it. And again, gives us a different dimension. It's kind of what they were looking for with JaVale McGee, minus the 10 extra years of knee pain, and waking up with random neck ailments. So yeah, Daniel Gafford's my first one. And again, $2 million this year, so we could get him for the low. If they're willing to give him up, I would just picture something like a Frank Ntilikina in a second or something like that, a future second.
Since you mentioned the big, I'll mention the only big that I have on my list, which is Xavier Tillman. In my opinion, he's not going to be getting – he got some minutes while Jaren Jackson Jr. was gone.
Right.
But now that he's back, between Jaren Jackson, Brandon Clark, Steven Adams, he's going to be on the bench for the most part, getting like a few minutes here and there. It was between him and Isaiah Jackson in Indiana, but I went with Xavier Tillman because of Miles Turner being in trade talks with the Pacers. I'm pretty sure that's going to open up minutes for Jalen Smith and Isaiah Jackson. There are going to be no minutes opening up for Xavier Tillman anytime soon. I believe he's still on a rookie contract.
Yep, he's in his 3rd year. Trying to see, he has a team option for next year, and that's it.
Yeah, they'll probably bring him back.
It's for under $2 million too.
Yeah, so an easy contract to trade for, like you said. I mean, I don't know what they would do with a Frank Ntilikina, but we could finagle something. Throw him a 2nd-round draft pick or something. Throw him a 2nd-round draft pick or something. Yeah. It would be too long to wait for him to hit free agency. I can't see them like going out of their way to match contracts for him. So a trade would have to be the scenario. But I think Xavier Tillman could fit nice on
Yeah.
a team, a nice project, big body down low.
Okay. I
Better
can
than
see it.
Fuck.
He's a guy whose minutes have gone down every year of his career.
Yeah.
Like 18 his rookie year, 13 last year, 10 this year. So I think it's easy to say that he's being phased out.
Yeah.
And they've already started having to hand out contracts because they keep drafting well. And I don't know if y'all have ever played like GM on 2K, but when you get all the draft picks, you eventually got to start making tough decisions. So I could
Got
definitely
to
see
pay guys like Brandon Clark and yeah.
that. They already paid him. I mean, he got his extension
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
So, okay. And what's your like? Is that another guy you can see pairing with Christian Wood if we keep him?
Yeah, that's I didn't say it while you were saying it, but in my head I was like, yeah, that's why I went with Xavier Tillman. I could see Xavier Tillman playing the center, Christian Wood playing the four. I like that combination.
Okay. I'm gonna go in order of contracts here.
Okay.
Go on the rest of the way. So the next guy on my list then would be Jackson Hayes, another big.
A problem.
Say what?
That motherfucker a problem.
So he's 22, which is crazy to me. I feel like he's been in the league for a while. He's 22. He's not playing at all this year in New Orleans. Completely out of the rotation. He's $7 million expiring contract. So they have incentive to try to get anything they can for him right now. Again, pretty much the same idea with Daniel Gafford, a big athletic center that runs the floor, catches lobs, dunks on people. Let me see. Yeah, 7 mil, 6.8 to be exact. But again, expiring contract, not in the rotation. We have plenty of guys that we can make that transaction for if we so desire to get younger like we should. And I really don't have a ton much else to say. Again, playing just under 8 minutes a game this season and has only played in 8 games. Free Jackson Hayes.
Jackson Hayes, okay. He's got talent. He just makes dumb mistakes sometimes. That's it.
Again, and that's what you expect. He's still college age at the end of the day. Like he's been in the league 4 years and he's 22. Like when I say 22, he's 22 and a half. Like he's not gonna turn 23 until when's his birthday? May.
Okay.
So these are again, this is the ideas to get these young dudes that haven't looked great or perfect yet, but might be able to turn into something.
My next guy, I know some people might say, oh well, this is redundant. This is repeating the same kind of player. I completely disagree because I keep telling y'all, we don't have real shooters on this team. There's not a single real shooter on this team.
Okay.
And there's a shooter in New York just sitting on the fucking bench under the age of 28. And I've wanted this dude on the Mavericks for about 2 years now. And I'm talking about Svi Mikhailuk. The New York Knicks needed shooting. They signed Svi Mikhailuk and they don't play him. He's averaging 2.6 minutes per game and has played 5 games this year. This dude is a certified sniper at 6'7". He would immediately come in and be better than any shooter we have. Now, granted, it's not going to give us much in terms of defense, but y'all know how I feel about y'all complaining about defense all the fucking time. Not everybody's going to be a great or even good defender. That's not what he's coming in for. We could use him in a sense in the same way that Los Angeles Clippers possibly use a Luke Kennard if he develops well enough. And I think Luke Kennard is doing a fantastic job. And oh shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I was watching a football game. Luke Kennard is doing a fantastic job in LA. Somebody else I would like, but it will be harder to get off of him, especially with his contract. So I looked for other shooters, found Svi Mikhailuk, somebody I've had my eye on for the last 2 years for the Mavericks, literally just sitting in New York. I think he can help the team. I think he can help us. It's kind of like having a better shooting Davis Bertans at the guard position, because obviously you can't play Davis Bertans at fucking guard. And the opposite of Davis Bertans is Duncan Robinson, and you don't want that fucking contract either. So go get Svi Mikhailuk, a guy you can develop with Luka. And his skin tone fits the narrative.
What? Worst case, I mean, we're watching Tim Hardaway throw up bricks every day, so it would be a way to phase Tim Hardaway out if we can get him and let it fly. I actually looked at Svi for a second, and I assumed that you would have him. And so I was like, I'm gonna leave Svi alone. He's not one of my top 5. And I was gonna like just write out a whole list, but I went and specifically tried to get 5, and I didn't think he was gonna be in my top 5. So I was like, maybe Reese will have him. But yeah, I like Svi. He's a hustle guy on defense. He's very much like Tim Hardaway Jr. He's just younger, and we haven't seen him break shots for 5 years.
He's an actual shooter.
Yeah. And I would love to see him in a real opportunity where he's getting real minutes to actually get into a rhythm with a shot. All right. That's a good one. So let's see. Contract based. My next guy. Finally, I'm out of the bigs for a second here. My next guy is a guard, a scoring guard. Goes by the name of Kobe White. Kobe White is another guy who has been somewhat pushed out of the rotation. I'm hearing Bulls fans calling for his head. People are tired of looking at him. They say he's broken. He can't get right, like old buddy from life. And 6'5", 22 years old. He'll be 23 in February. He had some flashes early on, and I just think that the Bulls currently just have too many guys in front of them. Ayu Dosunmu has played well. Zach LaVine is still there. I assume they're not trying to get rid of him yet. And as long as that's the case, if Kobe's not going to get a chance, now is the perfect time to get rid of him, because he is also expiring again, just like Jackson Hayes, a $7 million expiring contract, a guy who's down right now. I believe he's shooting 38% from the field, 32% from 3. Think he needs a change of scenery. One Bulls fan I know did say, I feel like Kobe White has been trash, but I also feel like if he goes somewhere else, it'll be another Lauri Markkanen type situation. I would like to see that play out in Dallas.
Okay.
Basically a Spencer Dinwiddie insurance, if you will. 22-year-old in a Spencer Dinwiddie mold. Learn from him, grow from him.
I'm not mad at that.
Ascend to the throne when Spencer Dinwiddie is up out of here or old, too old to hold it down. That's the guy.
Okay. Not mad at that. I like Kobe White a little bit. My next pick, it is a guard. A lot of people not going to like this. I know SJ for sure is not going to like this. He's in Utah right now. He's not really playing at all. And a lot of people will probably say this dude is trash. And if you wanted to say this dude is trash, I would completely understand. Talking about Nickeil Alexander-Walker. This is kind of just a biased opinion. Those guys that come into the league and you just hold out hope for them, like, man, I know there's something there with this guy.
Like a Frank Ntilikina, perhaps?
Yes. Precisely. I'm just a fan of this dude, man. A nice, tall, playmaking type guard. I think he has really decent finishing ability in the paint area, like around the basket. I believe I'm trying to talk myself into it, but man, look, I put Nickeil Alexander-Walker on the list because I'm a fan of Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I'm not about to sit here and BS y'all. Okay. I know the dude is not that good. It's the reason he's not playing in Utah, and that's completely okay. But he is still young. I think with a chance, maybe he can develop into something, maybe with some playing time, not G League playing time, NBA playing time. And I'm pretty sure he's not valued high. So it's low risk, high reward. Literally nothing to lose.
He
And
is.
he could be another playmaking guard that can build next to Luka.
He's a $5 million expiring contract himself. 24 years old. No positive things I can find to say about his career thus far. But he is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's cousin.
Yes.
So
never know, man.
if you want to play that game,
never know.
We can play that game.
Just don't look at his numbers, okay? All I ask.
I'm actually stunned that we have not doubled up yet. Because you only got one player left, right?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's not the what position is your last player?
I have two left.
Okay, what position is your last two?
I have a center and a guard.
I have a guard left.
Okay. So I'm gonna do my center and we'll see if our last player is gonna be at guard.
I don't think it will.
The next person is the center. He's making 10 mil a year, 10 mil this year, 10 mil next year, and he'll be expiring after next year. He's 24 years old. He's actually not having a terrible year. The reason I'm looking at him as a target is because he's the fourth big on his team currently, and all the other ones are also young. And somebody got to be the odd man out, and I think it's him. His name is Mo Bamba. Mohamed Bamba is shooting 48% from the field, 35% from three this year. He actually had been pushed out of the rotation completely by Bol before the injury started happening. Paolo Banchero went down, Wendell Carter went down, and he ended up having to start. Played decently during that stretch. I won't even say decently. He did what he was supposed to do during that stretch as the starting center with Wendell Carter out and Paolo Banchero. Paolo is back. I saw today they started Bol, Paolo, and Mo Bamba because shout out to Jamal Mosley. He likes to experiment with lineups and see what fits and what works, do things that are unconventional to try to give his team an edge. That's the type of coaching I like to see. But anyway, I got off on a tangent there. Mo Bamba, a guy that, Kirk likes to bring up that I wanted him in 2018 without the proper context to that, but that's okay. Mo Bamba is a guy who is a stretch big. He also blocks shots. I'm looking at him as a guy who, bare minimum, could back up Christian Wood, potentially could play with Christian Wood. As we see, he plays multi-big lineups. He can shoot threes. Christian Wood can shoot threes. We could have 2 7-footers on the court with Luka that stretch the floor and catch lobs in that scenario. I think that his next team is going to be where he sticks for a little while, and I would like that to be the Dallas Mavericks.
I like Mo Bamba. I like that pick. Before the season started out, it said Bol would have made this list, but now the roles is pretty much reversed.
Yeah, I think Bol surpassed them for sure.
Yeah.
And so Mo Bamba becomes a target again.
I think this makes it easy to go right into my next player because we just can stay in Orlando.
Wow, we really picked 5 different players. That's
that's good. That's great for content.
Yep.
My guard is Markelle Fultz.
I saw, before you get into it, I saw an alert announcement. I don't know if it was on IG or something about him coming back soon. And he crossed my mind to add to this list as well, but I didn't do it. So go ahead.
He's been injured to start the season. And in his absence, RJ Hampton has looked really good. Jalen Suggs has gotten better. I know Cole Anthony also missed some time, but even when they were playing together, Cole Anthony looks better. Cole Anthony was the starting guard. Markel Fultz has had some very good flashes in Orlando. I just think Orlando has way too many guards. Some of these guards got to go. And I think by circumstance, it sucked that Markel got hurt when he did. Maybe he's the guy to go out. I know some teams would want him. I think he's still a project. I think there's still some work to do, but I think he's much better than he was a few years ago. And Markel Fultz possibly starting as shooting guard next to Luka or a sixth man off the bench. I love the idea that that's a third ball handler, a guy who can play the two guard, but has the mental capacity to play point guard as well. The perfect combo guard. I think we can pull it off. I know his contract is probably about like $8 million.
16 actually. I just looked.
The fuck?
I
Maybe
mean, that
wants some shooting. Send him Tim Hardaway.
That actually makes him more attainable. Exactly. Yeah, 16 million this year and then 17 million, 16 and a half this year, 17 next year. So yeah, that does fit into the Tim Hardaway bucket. Coming off a toe injury, so not like an ACL this time or anything like that. He is a playmaker, as you mentioned. So I like it for that particular reason. He's 24 years old. I know he's like part of the heart and soul of that team. Technically, like they love him. They're everybody's pulling. I mean, everybody's pulling for everybody. I love the chemistry on that team because Jamal Mosley does that. But I definitely not mad at that pick. And again, his contract makes him very attainable. The fact that they have a glutton of a ton of young talent, somebody can't stay, and yeah, they're nice to target for those young players. Okay, I'm on board. My final guy, and we're gonna get to closing this episode out. Hope y'all have liked the more mellow Mavs Outsiders. My last guy is also making about 17 mil a year. He's 23. He's recently been called out in the media by his coach for not performing the way they expected him to perform. He's a guy that I wanted the Dallas Mavericks to draft in 2018. In fact, I've several times mentioned that after we drafted Luka Doncic, knowing that Luka Doncic was a point guard, it would have made more sense to draft this player as a complementary piece beside Luka Doncic, guy that can score at all three levels in college, has carried over a bit to the NBA. He also has played hard-nosed defense, very active with his hands. He's also a legacy guy. His dad played in the league. His dad played for the Dallas Mavericks. Reese is still confused. That man is Gary Trent Jr. Again, Gary Trent Jr.
I didn't know his dad played for the fucking Mavericks.
His dad's name is on the court in Dallas.
Don't pay attention to that. I can't see that.
I'm not saying that. I'm just adding another layer. You know, he's shooting 39 from the field, 30% from three right now. Again, like I said, having a down year. I watched him clank some shots against us the other night. It feels like one of those situations where, you know, you might need a change of scenery to get back on track. He don't fit the mold. He's not 6'8". You're not 6'8". You gotta really bring it to stay in Toronto. So I would love to target Gary Trent Jr. Again, he's making 17 million this year. He has a player option for next year. I think the time to strike is now. And if we get Gary Trent Jr. on this roster, I can feel better about having a 3-and-D wing who is 23 and not 31. If they're going to be breaking shots, I can still feel like they're going to improve one day. The 31-year-old, I have to wonder if he's washed. I don't have to worry about that with a 23-year-old. That's all I'm saying.
I like the fact we had no overlapping picks.
Yeah, that was that worked out.
Completely different players.
That worked out very nicely. Like we it wasn't even close to overlapping.
The closest overlap was us picking two dudes from the same team.
Which is interesting because we both went very different directions with it. Let us know. I might clip part of this or one of these. I might ask Reese which one he wanted to clip for him, and I'll clip one for me or something like that. But
I'll put this. I was gonna put this whole segment on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, do that. I'll make sure I get it uploaded overnight. But let us know what you think. If you disagree with any of the picks, if you agree with any of the picks, let us know. Again, if you have some other picks that you like, some guys that we maybe didn't name, let us know those too. I like hearing those types of things, get my brain working and looking at different potential trade packages. So this was fun for me. Maybe Nico Harrison will watch. Maybe Nico Harrison needs some ideas. Clearly he needs some ideas.
We'll stop listening before he even gets to this part.
Hopefully he stopped listening before he gets to this part.